Welcome back, everybody. Today, we're going deep on something that has the whole crypto world kind of going crazy. Altcoin ETFs.
Oh, yeah.
You guys have been asking about this stuff for a while now.
Yeah.
Specifically, the possibility of ETF for XRP, Litecoin, Solana.
Right.
You sent us a ton of articles to look at for this deep dive.
I saw that.
A lot of them in English.
Yep.
So some in Turkish.
Interesting.
So we got a lot to dig into.
Yeah, there's a lot of speculation flying around right now about whether these ETFs are going to actually get approved.
Right.
And like what that could mean for the prices of these coins.
Exactly.
I think there's even more to it, though. I think this whole thing is really like a window into how crypto is being seen by the traditional finance world, you know?
Yeah, it feels like something's shifting for sure.
It does.
Our sources are showing a ton of activity.
Oh, yeah.
Like big investment firms, even huge names like BlackRock,
Wow.
VanEck.
Okay.
All these guys, they're filing applications for these altcoin ETFs.
It really is remarkable when you look at the sheer number of filings coming in.
Right.
And they're not just going for like the obvious choices like Bitcoin or Ethereum.
Right.
We're seeing filings for Solana, Ripple, Cardano, Litecoin. Oh, and even Dogecoin.
Dogecoin.
Yep.
That's the one that started as a meme,
That's
right?
the one.
I mean, it kind of makes you wonder, what criteria are they even using to pick these coins?
It does raise some questions.
Right.
I think it shows how mainstream crypto is getting, though, traditional financial institutions. They see the potential here.
I guess so.
And they're trying to give their investors more,
Options.
Yeah.
So when are we thinking all this is going to happen?
Well,
when are these ETFs actually going to launch?
Yeah, so some of the sources are saying that 2025 could be the year we start seeing some of these altcoin ETFs go live.
Oh, wow.
If that does happen.
Yeah.
It could be a huge moment.
How so?
It would be a real sign that crypto is becoming part of
established?
Yeah, the established financial system.
Okay, interesting.
Okay, so
let's shift gears a little and zero in on one particular coin that I know a lot of you are interested in.
XRP.
XRP, exactly.
Oh, yeah.
This is one that's generating a lot of buzz.
Makes sense.
Our sources, especially the ones in Turkish,
interesting.
they really point to XRP as potentially the one to watch in this ETF race.
Okay, so XRP, why is everyone so excited about it?
Well,
it's got the third largest market cap already.
Right.
Only behind Bitcoin and Ethereum.
Huge.
And Ripple, the company behind it. They're focused on
like
real-world use cases,
like
revolutionizing cross-border payments. They've got all these partnerships with major institutions, too, so they've got credibility.
Okay.
Then you've got this big development in Brazil, just approved the world's first spot XRP ETF.
Huge.
Yeah.
So can you explain what's different about a spot ETF?
Yeah, so a spot ETF, it tracks the price of the underlying asset.
Which would be XRP.
In this case, XRP, exactly. So if you're buying shares of a spot XRP ETF, you're basically investing in XRP itself.
Gotcha.
This is different from some other types of ETFs.
How so?
That might track futures contracts or other derivatives.
Okay, so why is this such a big deal?
Well, Brazil doing this, it could make other countries think about approving similar ETFs.
Interesting.
Yeah, so it could be really influential.
That's exciting.
Yeah.
But then we've got some conflicting information here.
Oh.
Bloomberg analysts.
Yeah.
They're only giving XRP ETFs like a 65% chance of approval in the U.S. That's the lowest out of all the coins they looked at.
Interesting.
So it's kind of a strange situation.
Yeah.
All this excitement globally.
Right.
But then you've got these financial experts who seem pretty skeptical.
It really all comes down to the SEC in the end.
Okay.
They're the ones who decide whether these ETFs get approved here.
In the U.S.?
In the U.S.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
And let's be honest, they haven't exactly been super pro-crypto in the past, especially when it comes to these altcoins.
Right.
They need to be convinced that these ETFs would be safe for investors.
Okay.
And that there's no chance of manipulation.
And then, of course, there's the big elephant in the room. The SEC's been fighting Ripple in court for years now.
It's definitely adding to the uncertainty.
Right.
The SEC, they're claiming that XRP is actually a security.
Okay.
And if that's true, it could really complicate things.
In what way?
Well, if it's classified as a security, it would fall under totally different regulations.
Right.
And it would be way harder to get an ETF approved.
But one of our sources, Analystler XRP ETF, Omay ila fiat $10 ulaşabilir 99 Bitcoins TR.
Okay.
They mentioned that a judge ruled that sales of XRP on exchanges.
Oh, right. Yeah.
They are not securities.
Yeah, that was...
So what does that mean for the whole case?
It was a win for Ripple, for sure. But the SEC is appealing.
Oh, really?
So this thing is far from over.
Okay.
It really raises the question,
Yeah.
is this legal battle going to end up hurting or helping XRP's chances of getting an ETF?
That is the question, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, it's impossible to say for sure.
It really is.
So we've got all this regulatory uncertainty.
Uh-huh.
But at the same time, our sources are throwing out all these price predictions.
Price predictions, yeah.
For what XRP could do if an ETF does get approved.
Okay.
We're seeing numbers from like $3 all the way up to $10.
I know, it's just speculation, but
Yeah.
it's hard not to get caught up in it.
It is exciting.
It is, yeah, it is.
It's really important to keep in mind, though.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
XRP, this is a volatile coin.
It is.
It's known for these huge price swings.
It's very sentiment-driven. Anytime any news about the SEC comes out,
Right.
the price goes crazy.
Speaking of crazy,
Oh, yeah.
our sources mention this one example.
Okay.
After Donald Trump was elected back in 24, XRP surged over 390%.
Wow, I remember that.
So do you remember what was behind that surge?
It seemed like people were betting on a Trump administration
Okay.
to be more crypto-friendly. You know, his whole thing about deregulation
Right.
and him supporting certain crypto projects.
Yeah.
People got really optimistic, and that drove up the price.
So basically, people were buying into the hype,
Yeah, pretty much.
hoping to ride that wave of potential change in regulations.
Exactly. And it shows you how sensitive XRP is
Yeah.
to both regulation
Yeah.
and just overall market hype.
Right.
It's a good reminder that those price predictions, especially in the crypto world,
Right.
should always be taken with a grain of salt.
Okay.
You really have to look
Yeah.
beyond just the headlines
Uh-huh.
to understand what's really going on.
Okay, so we spent a lot of time on XRP.
We have.
What about the other altcoins that are trying to get their own ETFs?
Right.
Litecoin, for example.
Yeah, Litecoin is kind of thin under the radar,
It is.
but it's definitely a contender.
So what makes them think it's going to get approved?
Bloomberg analysts,
Okay.
they actually give it a 90% chance,
Wow.
which is the highest out of any of the coins they looked at.
Okay, that's interesting.
Yeah.
So why do you think Litecoin has those high approval odds?
Well, unlike Ripple,
Hmm.
Litecoin hasn't had any big legal fights with the SEC.
Right.
It's seen as more established,
Okay.
longer track record,
Uh-huh.
not as much regulatory baggage.
Makes sense.
Now,
Well,
Solana.
Solana, right.
I keep seeing Trump's name pop up in our sources connected to this coin.
I noticed that too, even the Turkish ones.
It's strange, isn't it?
It is.
There's been some talk because of those projects that were launched in his name and Melania's name
Right.
on the Solana blockchain.
Right.
It's hard to say if that will affect the chances of a Solana ETF getting approved,
Yeah.
but it's definitely worth watching.
I think it's a good reminder
Yeah.
that there are so many external factors
Mm.
that can influence the crypto market,
There are,
even political ones.
especially political ones, yeah.
So we've got XRP
Uh-huh.
with all this regulatory uncertainty.
Right.
We've got Litecoin just kind of waiting in the wings.
Yeah.
And then Solana with its Trump connection.
Interesting.
It's exciting stuff.
It is. It really begs the question, though.
What's that?
What does this rush to launch all these altcoin ETFs
Oh,
really mean for the future of crypto?
that's a great question.
It is.
Let's talk about that.
Let's do it.
So we've got all these altcoins trying to get ETF approval.
Yeah,
It feels like we're seeing a big change happening.
it does.
Traditional finance and crypto kind of coming together.
Right.
What does it all mean, though?
Yeah. What does it mean?
For the average investor.
Right.
And for the future of crypto itself.
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it?
It is.
On the one hand,
Yeah.
this could be huge for wider adoption.
Okay. So,
Think about it. ETFs make it so much easier
yeah.
for everyday investors to
Uh-huh.
get into crypto.
Right.
You don't have to mess around with setting up a crypto wallet
Yeah, all that stuff.
or trying to figure out those complicated exchanges.
Yeah, it kind of takes the scariness out of it.
It
for
does.
people who aren't so techy.
Exactly.
Okay, so it makes it easier to get in.
Right.
What else? Do?
Well, that could bring a ton of new money into the market.
Interesting.
And when that happens,
Yeah.
you might see more stability.
Okay.
Less of that crazy volatility that we always hear about with crypto.
So less of those roller coaster rides like you were talking about earlier with XRP.
Potentially.
That would be a good thing, I think.
I think so, too.
So more stability is one thing.
Right.
What about regulation?
Well, when you've got these big institutional investors coming in.
Yeah, like BlackRock and VanEck.
Exactly. The regulators are going to have to take notice.
Right.
And actually start setting some clear rules.
Some more clarity, too.
Or clarity.
And, of course, mainstream acceptance.
Yeah, it seems like a win-win.
It does.
But you're right to be a little cautious.
Okay, why is that?
There's a real argument to be made
Okay.
that all this traditional finance money coming in
Yep.
could actually change crypto in a bad way.
How so?
Well, think about it. Crypto was supposed to be about disrupting the traditional system,
Right.
creating something decentralized and independent.
Yeah, it's like a real alternative.
Exactly.
So
it's kind of ironic, isn't it?
It is.
That the very system that crypto is trying to disrupt is now embracing it.
Yeah.
And some people are worried that this is going to lead to more control, more centralization.
Right.
And we could lose that rebellious spirit that made crypto so cool in the first place.
It's like that old saying is you can't beat 'em, join 'em.
Right.
But sometimes when you join 'em, you change the thing you were fighting against.
That's a good point.
So
the question is,
yeah.
Is this joining going to be good for crypto in the long run?
Right.
Or will it lose its soul?
It's a good question.
It is. We'll have to see how it all plays out.
Okay, so we've talked about the big picture stuff.
Yeah, the philosophical side of things.
Exactly. But let's get practical for a second.
Okay.
If someone's listening to this and thinking about getting into altcoins, what advice would you give them?
I would say approach this whole situation carefully.
Okay.
Don't just buy into the hype and make rash decisions.
It's easy to get caught up in it, though.
It is, especially when you see those price predictions.
Exactly.
But remember, those are just predictions.
Right.
Not guarantees.
Okay, so be careful.
Be careful. Do your research.
Okay.
Understand the risks.
Okay.
And don't put all your eggs in one basket.
Good advice.
Speaking of research.
Oh, yeah.
You mentioned a dark horse earlier in the altcoin ETF race.
Solixy.
Solixy, that's the one.
It's built on the Solana blockchain, right?
It is.
Remind us what that means.
Okay, so Solixy.
Yeah.
It's a layer 2 project. And it's a great example of the kind of innovation that's happening in crypto right now.
How so?
It's tackling a big problem that a lot of blockchains have.
Okay.
Scalability.
Scalability?
Yeah. Basically, when a blockchain gets more popular and more people are using it,
it
can get clogged up.
Oh, I see.
Transactions get slower.
Right.
Fees go up.
Like a traffic jam.
Exactly. Like rush hour on the highway.
So a layer 2 solution like Solixy, it's like adding more lanes to that highway.
That's a good way to think about it.
Okay, cool.
It processes transactions off-chain, so it doesn't clog up the main blockchain.
Okay. So it makes everything more efficient.
Exactly.
So why is Solixy getting so much attention?
Well, it's the first layer 2 project
that's
built specifically for Solana.
And why is Solana a big deal?
Solana is known for its speed.
Okay.
And low transaction fees, which makes it popular with developers.
Right.
But even Solana can have problems with scalability as it grows.
Right. So Solixy can help with that.
That's the idea.
Interesting.
Interesting.
Solixy helps Solana scale.
Right.
And Solixy benefits from Solana's success.
Exactly.
But of course,
there's definitely risk involved too.
Okay, why?
So Solixy's future is tied to Solana. If Solana were to fail, Solixy would go down with it.
So high risk.
High risk.
High reward. High reward. Gotcha.
But it's cool to see this kind of innovation happening.
Yeah.
It's not just about people trying to get rich quick anymore.
Right.
There are real problems being solved here.
Okay, so we've talked about Solvency, layer 2 solutions, all that. Let's go back to XRP for a minute.
Okay.
I keep thinking about that price surge after Trump's election.
Yeah, it's hard to forget that one.
It really shows you how sensitive XRP is to outside forces.
It does.
Especially anything to do with regulation.
For sure.
So the crypto market,
yeah,
it's not just driven by technology.
Right.
It's also about sentiment, how people are feeling. And sometimes those things line up.
Yeah.
And you get these huge price movements.
It's exciting.
It is.
But it can be dangerous, too.
Right, because sometimes those things don't line up.
Exactly.
That's why it's so important to do your research.
Absolutely.
Don't just get caught up in the hype.
That's the key takeaway.
You got to understand the technology, the regulations, the risks involved.
It's all connected.
Okay, so speaking of risks, we were talking earlier about those price predictions for XRP.
Right, some analysts are saying $10.
If an ETF gets approved.
If an ETF gets approved.
But they've got that SEC lawsuit hanging over Ripple's head.
That's right.
How much of a threat is that to XRP's future?
It's a big concern.
Okay.
If Ripple loses that case, it could be devastating for the price of XRP.
Wow.
The SEC is saying that XRP is a security.
Right.
And if they win, it could trigger a whole wave of new regulations.
Okay.
That would make it really hard for XRP to do well.
So that $10 prediction
could
turn into a nightmare.
It could, for sure.
For people who bought in at a high price.
It could, yeah.
But if Ripple wins.
Yeah, or even gets a good settlement.
Okay.
It could remove a lot of the uncertainty. And the price of XRP could take off.
So we just have to wait and see.
We do.
High stakes.
High stakes, for sure.
This whole thing with Ripple.
Yeah.
It feels like it could affect the entire crypto market.
It really could.
Not just XRP.
It's a pivotal moment for the whole industry.
It really is crazy to think
I know.
that so much is riding on this one case.
Yeah.
Like the whole future of crypto could be affected.
It's a turning point for sure.
It is.
And it makes me wonder,
Yeah.
what do you want the future of crypto to look like?
Wow, that's a big question.
It is.
I'll admit,
Yeah.
it's easy to just get caught up
Yeah.
in the day-to-day stuff.
Right.
Like the price swings and the new projects and
Oh, yeah, all the hype.
all the hype.
Hold it.
But you're right. It
Yeah.
is important to step back
And think bigger.
and think long-term.
Yeah, exactly.
Sure.
So do you think crypto will end up completely merging
Okay.
the mainstream financial system?
Yeah.
Or do you think it'll stay more independent,
You know,
more decentralized?
I don't really know.
Yeah.
There are good and bad things about both.
That's what makes it so exciting, though.
It is.
It's still so early.
Yeah.
The future's wide open.
It really is.
Our decisions as investors,
Yeah.
the new technologies that are being developed, the
Yeah.
way the regulators react,
Right.
it's all going to shape what happens.
It's exciting and scary all at the same time.
It is, but that's why it's so interesting, right?
It is.
We're seeing a whole new financial system being born,
Wow, yeah.
and we get to be a part of it.
It feels like we've covered a lot today.
Yes.
The SEC and their cautious approach
Mhm.
to altcoin ETFs,
Uh-huh.
the whole Ripple lawsuit,
Oh, yeah.
Solixy, and the potential of layer 2 solution.
It's a lot,
It is.
and it's all changing so fast.
That's true.
So the most important thing
Okay.
is to stay informed, don't believe everything you read,
Right.
and don't be afraid to ask questions.
That's what we try to do here on the Deep Dive.
Exactly.
Get past the headlines.
Right.
And really understand what's going on.
Dig deeper.
Exactly.
And remember, there's no one right way
Okay.
to navigate the crypto world.
Hmm.
It's about figuring out
Yeah.
what works best for you,
Right.
your goals, and your risk tolerance.
Okay, so as we wrap up here,
Yeah.
what's the one thing you want our listener to take away from all of this?
I think the most important thing to remember is that crypto is full of possibilities,
Mm-hmm.
but it's also risky.
Yeah.
Don't let the excitement of making money
Right.
cloud your judgment.
Good advice.
Do your research.
Yep.
Stay informed.
Uh-huh.
And think carefully about your decisions.
Great advice. Thank you so much for breaking all of this down for us.
Welcome. It was fun.
And to everyone listening, thanks for joining us on the Deep Dive.
Yeah. Thanks for listening.
We'll see you next time.